So we were discussing about the propositions, right? So let us go to the Dev Studio. Last session, what we have seen is we have actually created few offers, few propositions. We understood what is the business issue, what is the business group, and what are propositions, right? So, so we have created few propositions as well. So did we actually see creating properties or no? Creating the properties, did we cover that?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
I think
So
I can't see the screen as well. Can you share the screen?
screen is being shared. Let me share again. So can you see now? Guys, are you able to see? Others?
Yes.
I had issue. I disconnected and connected back, but it is appearing two profiles for me actually. But now I am able to see after disconnecting and connecting.
Okay, fine. Okay. So now let us create the properties. So what we will do is we will actually create the propositions here. So after creating the proposition, we will then actually see the properties. So what I will do here, I'll just add the properties first here. So let us add few properties and then we'll also see the custom form and all that. Okay. So I come here. Now scroll down. So first I will add few properties here. Then here, let us say I create the property name as something like monthly EMI. Okay, I'm creating something called monthly EMI. So since this is a credit card, that's the reason I'm creating something similar to that. So here I'll save this property. Now come back. So let us say I create one more property, something like credit card price, and I create this property. Okay, now save it. So here we have the option called use custom form. Okay, so now I select use custom form. So what is the difference? So here I have added few properties now, like the credit card price and monthly EMI. So if you open this offer, the proposition, you can see that the two properties which you added are being displayed here, right? That is the credit card price and the monthly EMI. So now I have added two properties, credit card price and the monthly EMI. And now if I have to create a property, for example, I need something like a what is say something like let us say a drop down or a checkbox. How will I do that? Okay, so if I have the property here, something like a text box, then it is fine. But if I have something like a checkbox or radio button, how can I add that here? I cannot do that, right? So when you add a property here, it will always accept text input and so it will always accept like a text input. It will not accept something else. But if you add the property in the custom form, then you can add it with the drop down and the radio button like that. Okay, so you can add it with the drop down and radio button like that. So for example, now what I will do, I will just click on use custom form and I'll click on submit. Okay, I click on submit. Then I click on customize form. So then what I will do is I'll just click on customize form. So what does the customize form will do is I'll just click on the customize form. So I want to add the properties like drop downs, checkboxes, radio buttons like that, right? So if I have to add this kind of requirement, for example, I need to include a drop down, I need to include a checkbox. Then what I have to do is I have to add it from here. Okay, I have to add it from this custom form. So what I will do, I'll just go to the PO edit element. Okay, I'll go to the PO edit element and here we will be adding that checkout here. So now I can add the properties directly, which is drop downs or radio buttons or something. So I'll just click on the plus button. So then we will take pickers. Now, for example, I'll take something like a drop down. Okay, so I'm taking something like a drop down. So this drop down is you can add the drop down directly here itself. So for example, I'm creating a property like let us say applicable city. That means this particular credit card is applicable for some cities. So that city I am trying to add here as applicable city. Okay, I'm trying to add here the applicable city. So now I select here as local list. Now for example, I'll give something like Hyderabad and some other city I'll give. And for example, I'll give something like Mumbai. Now save it. Okay, so now I am just selecting this option and I'll say here select applicable city and I click on submit. Select applicable city and I click on submit and save this. Now if you come back and let us say I just uh, come here, save it, go to the data. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just come here and okay, just check in now. Yeah, section you have to check in. Okay, it is saying the same thing, right? Ensure the section is checked in. So I just come here and I check in. So now again I come back. Now if you try to go to the data and if you open any particular offer here, you see here I'm able to see the drop down that is coming, right? So if you open this offer, we can see that there is a drop down called like this, applicable city, select applicable city. So that means whenever I add a field within the form tab here in the down in the below, then these fields will add only text input. You cannot add any advanced controls like drop downs, radio buttons, etc. Okay, you cannot add any advanced controls like drop downs, radio buttons, etc. So if you want to add the advanced controls like drop down, radio button, checkbox, links, etc., you have to make it as custom form. Okay, you have to make it as custom form. And then when you click on the customize form, there is one section that is called py edit element that will be same for all the groups. Py edit element section is same for all the groups. Okay, only it will be differenced with the circumstancing. Okay, the difference only will be the circumstancing here. So you see the circumstance value equal to credit cards, circumstance value equal to debit cards, but the section name will always be same, which is py edit element. So within this section you can add whatever you want. You can add drop down, you can add checkboxes, radio buttons, all that things which you know right already. So like you can add whatever is needed for you. Now I just check in. So I will just say add custom form, or I'll do one thing. Let us add a few more elements to the section. So I have added a drop down. Similarly, I will select. I'll add a checkbox. Okay, I will add a checkbox. So let us add something called uh, applicable to kids. Okay, I'm adding a checkbox where I need to check if this credit card is let's say applicable to kids or something like that. Okay, kids in the sense like below 21 years old, something like that. I'm just keeping. So then I'm keeping the checkbox property here as true or false because this is a checkbox, right? Checkbox will have either true or false. So now I am adding a checkbox to the proposition data. So notice that the properties are getting created in the SR class. Last time we have seen SR class. What is SR class and how do we define this in the SR class, right? So I'm giving here, is this applicable to kids, and I submit. Okay, like this I'm giving and save. Okay, now check in. Applicable to kids. So I'm selecting this option. Now come back. So again save. So what we will do, we will just randomly give some values for the offers which are there. So I'll just open one by one proposition here. And you see now the checkbox that we added, that is also coming here. Okay, so for this I'll give the credit card price as $100, monthly EMI as some 1000, applicable to kids. I'll select yes, save. Okay, now again open the second one. I'll just select here 1000, monthly EMI as 20,000 and save. So these are the characteristics of this offer. Okay, what is the price, what is the EMI, which city we can promote. So something like that. I'm adding sample data. Monthly EMI I'm giving something like 1 lakh or something and save. Okay, similarly I'll add this one. So for this I'm just not giving any data, I'm just selecting this checkbox, is this applicable to kids, and I save. Okay, similarly last one also I will update here with the data. For example, I'll give the price as $100, monthly EMI as 40,000, is this applicable to kids, and save. Okay, got it. So till here, is it clear for you what we have done, or any questions or anything confusing? So just to review, in the last session we have added propositions. Like you can just click on the new button and you can create a new proposition. So proposition means anything that you promote to the customer, either a product, service, discount, coupon, all these things you have to create as a proposition. And if you go to the form tab, if you add the properties here, then those will be created as a text input. Okay, but if you want to have something like a drop down checkbox, okay, for example, you are promoting a t-shirt, you need to select the t-shirt size, whether it is XL, L, medium, something like that. For that you need a drop down. Okay, for example, you need to select the applicable country to promote this t-shirt, then you need to select through the drop down, right? So all that you can do it in the custom form. In the generic form, which is below, there is generated form, you have scalar properties. In the custom form, you will have the custom properties. Okay, so that is what you can do here. So now I just added those things and we have created the custom form and the attributes. So any questions till here? Are you clear till what we have done?
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Okay, no questions right till here?
Yeah, no question.
Okay, fine. So now let us go to the strategy. We will create a sample strategy here. I'll go to the intelligence strategies. So here, click on create and start with new canvas. So what I will do, first thing, we'll just take a simple scenario and we will create the strategy. So strategies are present under intelligence strategies in the CDH portal. You can create a strategy from the Dev Studio also. So what you have to do is from the CDH, select Intelligence Prediction Studio. From the Prediction Studio, switch to the Dev Studio. Then you go to the records, decision category, and strategy. Okay, records, decision category, and strategy. So here also you can create a new strategy. Now let's go back to the CDH and I'll create the strategy. I'll call the strategy as first strategy. Now I select the business issue as, let's say, grow, business group as credit cards, and here the applies to class for a strategy. What you have to give is you have to give your customer class. So I told you right in the context dictionary we have to configure one customer class and all that. So as part of context dictionary only you have to create this. You can do this manually also. That means as soon as you create your decisioning application, what you have to do is you have to create a customer class. You have to create a customer class and you have to create all the columns and the properties, like what is the customer name, what is the customer age, what is his income, what is the customer ID. So all this customer data you need to have basically as a first step. Once you create the application, either you create manually or you create using data type, your wish, but you have to create one customer class and you have to add the data, like what is his ID, what is his name, what is his phone number, everything you have to add it. So then you have to click on create and open. So now I am creating the strategy. So here I will import the propositions. So double click on this. Just a minute. Um, Fine. So now let us import the proposition. So what I'm doing here is, this is the strategy canvas. Okay. So once I create a strategy, this is how the strategy canvas looks like. This is how the strategy canvas looks like. So this entire white color screen, right, this is called as a strategy canvas, and you can start adding the components from here. Like you can just come here and you can add the components from here, or you can also right click and you can add the components. Okay, so here also you can add the components from here, like import, and you can do that from here. Okay, so these are the two ways how you can add the strategy. So like you see, I'm just right clicking and I'm adding a component to the strategy. like this. Or I can also add this component from here. I just select here and I can add the component from here like this. Okay, so this is called as a strategy canvas. The final output will be going into this result shape. That means whatever the final output that will come from the strategy, that will be pointing to the result shape. Okay, that is like the end shape of the strategy. Now what I will do, I'll just import proposition data. So what this component will do is, this component will import the propositions from the proposition data. So for example, I double click on this. You see, I have all the offers which I showed you before: standard card, rewards card, rewards plus card, premier rewards card, Sodexo card, and UBA card. So if you want to import all offers, you will select import all. If you want to use any one offer, you will select that particular offer here and you will submit. So I have grow credit cards and you can see that this is disabled. So for example, now I'm importing rewards card only. Then what you have to do is, you just need to connect from this component to the next component like this. That is how we use the strategy. Now, if you notice this proposition data, so I'm just saving it, the strategy, I'm saving the strategy. So if you double click on this, okay, if you double click on this, you can see that this business issue and business group is disabled, right? The business issue and the business group is disabled. So why it is disabled? Let us see. So what does it mean is, for example, when I try to create a strategy, you need to go to intelligence strategies, create, start with new canvas. So when I'm creating the strategy here, when you select the business issue and the business group, based on that only the strategy SR class, that is the SR class, will be defined. So what does it mean? See, for example, when I'm selecting the business issue as grow and business group as credit cards, you can only select the offers, that is the propositions, from this issue and from this group. You cannot select the propositions from other issues and other groups. So what I will do, I'll just keep as none, which means my strategy result. So what does it mean, right? So for example, just a minute. Okay. So what I mean to say is, okay, so what I mean to say is, while creating the strategy, for example, you selected issue as grow, group as credit cards. While creating the strategy, your SR class will be restricted to your application ID, that is CDH-SR-grow-credit cards. Now within the strategy also, I can only use the propositions from this issue and from this group. I cannot use from another issue and from another group. But for example, I am not selecting any issue and any group. I am leaving it as it is, like none, I'm keeping none. Then your SR class will be created and it will be restricted to CDH-SR. Now I can use the propositions from acquire, collections, all of this. And I can also use the propositions from any of the groups that are present in that particular issue. So that is the difference between this strategy result class here. So now again I'm giving my customer class. This is my customer class. I click on create and open. So now if you try to add the proposition data, okay, now if you try to add the proposition data, so double click on this. So if you see now, I am able to select from any issue. I can select any group and I can select the propositions that are there in that group. So right now there are no propositions in that group. So I'm selecting this one and I select submit. Okay. So like this, depending on whatever the SR class that you select while creating the strategy, you can select the offers from different issues and different groups. Okay, so that is the purpose of that strategy result class that you select there. So there is no restriction because while creating you did not restrict to a particular group or particular issue. Okay, got it? Fine. Now I have imported the propositions. So now what we will do is we will use a filter. So what I will do, I'll check out. Okay, check out. So then what I will do, I will, yes,
In this case, the SR class is only cdh.sr.
right. CDH-SR, that's it. Okay, so we can use from any issues and any groups that you want. So now I'll take a simple logic here. What I will do here is I will come down and I have taken filter component. So there is a shape that is called filter shape. What this filter will do is the filter shape will filter the incoming results with the matching condition. Okay, so always the strategy execution happens from left to right. Okay, so here I have imported all the credit cards. Now what I will do in the filter, let us say I give a condition like dot credit score, or let's say dot let us say dot so you see that I'm not able to select a property that is present in grow dash credit cards because my strategy results class is SR class. But the properties which I created, like applicable city, applicable for kids, monthly EMI, all this I created in grow dash credit cards. So you know already from parent we cannot call child, right? From child we can call parent in work class inheritance also, but from parent you cannot call the child class. That is what is happening here. Okay, so now I'll go back to my first strategy because the SR class for this is cdh-sr-grow-credit cards. So my properties are also present in the same class. So that is the reason we will not be able to access. Again, if you want to do the logic, then you have to keep your properties in cdh-sr. Then only it will work. So now again I will add the filter here. Now connect from here to filter and from filter to here. Now double click on this. If you try to click on dot, you can see that now the properties are visible because the SR class is glowed as credit cards. So now for example, I will say I want to filter the propositions which applicable to kids equal to true, and I submit. So then here I will give the label for this component. I can give like propositions applicable for kids. This is just a label and I submit. Now let us save it. So what I'm doing now, I'm just importing my propositions all the credit cards that are there in the grow issue and credit cards group. Then whichever propositions are applicable for kids, only those offers I am taking. Okay. Now let us test it. How do we run this? How do I run a strategy? In order to run a strategy, you have to click on this toggle panel. When you click on this toggle panel, there are two ways to run the strategy. First way is to single case, which is running the strategy with a single customer. Second way to run the strategy is with batch, that is running the strategy with multiple customers. Okay, so we'll see the batch later. I'll select single case. Case in decisioning means customer. Okay, so when I'm just referring to case, it means a customer. It is not the case that we create in PEGA. This is customer. Single case means single customer. Now batch means multiple customers. So I will run with single customers. So I'll just say save and run. So now when I say save and run, you can actually see that no offers are coming in the output because we have imported only rewards card, and I think rewards card is not applicable to kids. So I'm just selecting import all, and I will, for example, save it, and I will run again. So previously we have run with rewards card only. That's the reason we did not get anything. But now when I run it, you see I got the output. So I just always click on results. Okay, so you see nothing is coming. Again, nothing is coming. So see what the strategy will do is the strategy. How do I trace? For example, in activity or something, let us say there is some issue at fourth step or fifth step. You will trace it and you will come to know, okay, fifth step it is failing, sixth step it is failing. But in strategy, somewhere the issue is there, and how do I debug and how do I trace, or how do I find out the issue if you are not getting expected output? The strategy will give you the output at each and every component. Okay, that means whatever the output of this component, when you click on this component, the output will be displayed to you. So you see when I clicked on this component, the output is 6 offers. So you see 6 propositions are coming as output: the standard card, rewards card, premier rewards card, Sodexo card, whatever we added, right? Those are coming in the output. When I want to see the output of this component, I will click on this component. So you see there is nothing is coming in the output. So that means the issue is directly in the first component only, and after first component nothing is coming in the output. That is how you need to debug the strategy. You cannot trace like steps or anything. You have to click each and every component and you can see what output is there for that particular component. Okay, so now why we are not getting the output? Because if you remember, I have selected applicable for kids for I think 2 or 3 offers I selected, but still we are not getting the output. Why? So the thing is, whenever you create a property, so if you come here, I just come to the Dev Studio. If you go to the proposition data, whenever you create a property in the decision data, okay, here, okay, for example, I just created the property in the credit card. So I just open this. So whenever you create a property here, you have to add that property in the form tab also. Means I created some properties, right? Like for example, applicable for kids, applicable city, all these properties we created. So you see that properties are also already there here. Applicable city, applicable for kids. But what you have to make sure is whatever the properties that you added in the section, those properties should also be present in the form tab. Okay, this is the form tab, right? This is the form tab. If you scroll down, we have added only two properties here, monthly EMI, credit card price. But the two other properties which we created in the section, applicable city, applicable kids, that is not there here. So you have to add those here also. Then only you can use them. Okay, then only you can use them. So one is applicable city, it's already created, right? Okay, it is, I think, applicable city, I think we created something like this. Yeah, applicable city, that's how we created. So then the second property which we created is just a minute, yes. Just okay. So first is applicable city. Second we have is, I think, applicable for kids. That is the second property that we created, right? I think what is the property name? The property name that we have created is applicable to kids, correct? Applicable to kids. Okay, so the property name is applicable to kids. So these are the two properties which we created, and these two properties I am going to add. So I'm just saving this. So that's what you have to do. You have created two properties, but you did not add those properties in the form tab. So it is very important, if you created the properties in the section through custom form, right? So I created a custom form and in the section directly added the properties. But once you add the properties in the section, you have to make sure that the properties are also added to the form tab. Then only you can use those in the strategy or wherever you want to use. Now I have added in the form tab. Now let us rerun and see whether we get the expected output or not. So I just come here and I click on save and run now. So now you see I got the output. So okay, total I have 3 offers. Total I have 6 offers. If you see, if I click here, you see I have 6 offers. After doing the filtering, I got only 3 offers as the output. So these are the 3 offers: credit card, standard card, rewards card, and Sodexo card. So for these 3 offers, for these 3 propositions, I have selected the checkbox applicable for kids. Okay, I selected the checkbox applicable for kids. That's the reason I am getting the output with these 3 offers that they are applicable. Okay, got it clear? Understood what I did or no? Or any
Yes,
question?
but on preposition where you gave for these three types of prepositions where you gave it is applicable for kids.
Yeah, we did right. We have selected right.
Okay,
So I just opened one by one offer and I gave some data, right?
okay,
We have shown that to you, right? So in the proposition management, I went to the 6 offers are there here. I opened one by one offers and I selected this checkbox, right?
okay, yeah,
So
okay,
so for 3 of them I selected, for 3 of them I did not select. So standard card I selected this checkbox.
okay,
That's the reason I'm getting the 3 offers in the output.
right,
And for 3 of them I did not select. I think Sodexo card I selected. Yeah, I think UBI card. You see, I did not select for this, right? So 3 I selected, 3 I did not select. So that's the reason I'm getting my output as 3 offers in the output for the strategy. Okay, so like this, you will start creating some basic logic with the strategy components. So what we have seen, just importing the offers, filtering the offers with the condition, and giving the results. Okay, now I can also do annotation. If you right click and I'll add the annotation. So what does this annotation mean? This annotation just gives some comment to this particular offer. Okay, just a comment to this particular offer. So this is like a comment in your activity and data transform, right? You have some comment step where you just inform like what we are doing here. So I'm just giving some comment like filtering offers applicable only for kids, like this. So this will not impact the functionality. This is only for a best practice so that other developers who come, they will be able to understand what you are doing here. Okay, just you have to right click and you have to say annotation. Now wherever you are keeping some logic, there you can keep the annotation. Just a best practice or some good practice that you can do, but it's not mandatory or mandatory to do that. So this is how you will get started with the strategy and creating the basic components. Okay, so any questions still here? Yeah, just you click this icon and you can click on the run button to execute the strategy with single case, which is single customer. Okay, so we'll just resume the components and topic tomorrow. Meanwhile, any questions till today? That means in the previous sessions and today's session. If you have any questions, just let me know.
In your project, how you will define this applicable class actually? Because you need to create a separate class for holding the
Yeah, we need
customer
to
data, right?
correct. We have to create a separate class with your ID, like your application ID or your organization name dash data dash customer. Okay, so in this application, the organization name is ubank. So ubank dash data dash customer, like that one class is already there. So I am creating my strategies in the customer class. You should also do the same thing. You have to ask your lead, what is my customer class? Then you have to create the strategies in that class. Okay.
Okay. For every project, they define that customer class or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Without customer data, we cannot do anything. First, we have to do the first step is to create the customer class and add the customers to the table.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. We will continue tomorrow. We'll resume.